my notes got... Well, as you know, I watched this at work, so I wrote all my notes down.
Nice.
The shit got a little wet in my bag.
Oh.
It's a bit more.
Hopefully I can still decipher. Problem.
I didn't take notes.
Oh, I took more notes than I've taken for many a film. There was just so much to analyse.
There's a lot going on.
Well, with that, I think I shall play the music, which I did not have ready. So give me a minute.
No.
Nope.
Got to stay like this.
Oh, yeah, please do be ready.
You normally have it all ready before we start.
I know.
It's not very efficient.
At least I think maybe once you did. Excellent.
I need to set my cup down because it's going to make a noise for you. That's better.
Oh, wow.
Like a
For the listeners, what you didn't hear there was Claire putting her cup down on the table.
I chose our film this time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
I chose Last Action Hero. I think just because I saw it on Netflix and I thought that could go very well or very badly.
What did it go for you?
I found it quite boring. I don't think I would have finished watching it if it wasn't for this conversation. Yeah, I'd love to hear everyone else's thoughts on it.
Laura, when Claire first announced it, you said something like, "Oh God, I bet that's a really depressing one."
You suggested Schindler's List.
And I hope your fears didn't come to pass.
I assumed, I'd never heard of it. It doesn't sound... I thought it sounded maybe like some terrible cheesy war film.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I got onto Netflix and I saw the 80s just slap me in the face. Arnold Schwarzenegger, I was like, yes. I do, I love the 80s. And I indeed loved it.
How about you, Fernando?
Well, I'm somewhere in between, I suppose. I did think that it was a bit long. When I realised that I still had 40 minutes after having watched like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
And so I had to take a pause. I watched it in 2 days. I finished it yesterday, but I started 2 days ago.
Because it's so epic.
It's so epic, yes. And having made that pause, I think, helped a lot because I was refreshed at the second day. Did not feel that long. So maybe some movies should be like books where you can just put them down and take a rest and come back to them.
Intervals, lovely.
So having seen it in 2 days instead of just one continuously, one continues. I think I did enjoy it, and I'm quite grateful that you suggested it because I did not know the existence of this film, and I thought it was just so funny. Actually, yes, but I can see, because I somehow experienced it on the first day that I tried watching it, how it can get tiresome for such a long time.
Yeah, tiresome's maybe the right word.
Can see that? This was not the kind of film I like. But I think it was perhaps the best example of that particular kind of film.
What kind of film is it?
Like a cheesy action movie with comedy.
Okay.
A cheesy comedy action movie. They did quite a good job of it, and it really was quite good. All the action and stuff, it was actually quite... Like, all these special effects were quite well done, and they put a lot of effort into making it really good. And all of the cheesy one-liners that normally make me sort of sigh in films, that not only had they done them so well, but also they've done them framed in this way that you're supposed to laugh at them rather than feeling all smug and superior while you laugh at them. And that was really nice.
They were sharing the joke, weren't they?
Yeah.
Those ones.
Yeah, it was good. But it was far too long. And in a couple of ways it was weirdly dark in a way that didn't really... It was incongruous and unnecessary. And that was a bit of a letdown as well.
Do you mean the dying child? I did not enjoy them.
I was thinking like... like when he got attacked by the burglar at the start. Like, it was mostly quite a light-hearted film, and then there was that. And there were like 2 bits where they swore, and all of that resulted... I saw it on Netflix and said it was a 15, and the protagonist is like 12, right? Or 13. And that makes me think, like, if they'd made 1 or 2 changes, this would have been... Firstly, it would have been able to reach a wider audience, and also would have made me feel a bit less weird in a couple of places. But it sort of entertained me going through, and it didn't leave me much room to get bored.
Okay.
Though it's the kind of thing I normally get bored in. There was enough interesting, unexpected stuff that it was all right.
Cool. I agree with everyone that it was far too long. And there was so much they could have just cut out that wouldn't have made no bearing on the film. All the fart jokes with that whole scene. Didn't care for that. You know, with the crane.
What's the fart?
The funeral.
The funeral.
Oh, yeah.
For fart.
Yeah.
Was that just his name? Like his
I think that was his
mob
name.
Like his mob nickname. Old Flatulent John, or whatever it was called. Yeah.
Yeah, would have cut that.
Yeah.
Okay, it made you think it was going to be the climax. And then we have to go to the real world, or the...
Yeah. I did think that was good in a way, because we had the climax of the film, but that was only the climax inside the film, and we had to have another climax outside the film, but even that sort of went away after a while. I didn't feel quite so enamoured with that whole thing. But at least there was a lot of stuff that they were packing into all of this. You could cut most of it, but none of it was like dragging the scene out. They were just putting more and more scenes in. I like that.
Just look at my notes.
See your faded notes.
Oh, they totally got me at the start. Did they get you? You know, with the fake film. We're led to believe it's the real film.
Oh, did you think that was the film?
I did think that was the film.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was really excited. I was a bit disappointed that was the film.
Okay. It was just too much, wasn't it? I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved the cheesy one-liners and all of that.
Just all the police cars just off.
Yeah, there was so many. It was like Blues Brothers again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've not really got much else, to be honest. I just make notes as we go through, but maybe they'll come up. I just thought it was a completely demented film. That's how I'd describe it.
Demented.
Fucking demented.
Wow. Just all over the place.
Just all over the place.
Huh.
And then the end. The end is what really made it demented, because there were no lessons learned by anyone. We're made to think that maybe he'll have a thing with his mum. Forget that.
Oh, yeah.
He's never going back. They're just going to go their separate ways.
Was the lesson that the boy needs to live in the real world and fictional characters need to live in the fictional world? And
he got given the ticket.
Learned.
So maybe there's more adventures in his future. You know, there's magic in his world. It's not really the real world, is it? It's another layer of fiction that the film, I think, is aware of.
Okay. Yeah.
Just something about it. There's something about the end. It was just like, oh, all right, okay.
Yeah.
It didn't really wrap things up.
And it sort of concluded, Arnie's arc. Because so for one thing, he managed to save the little boy, as he failed to save the little boy in the previous film.
The little boy still got thrown off the roof. But yeah, fine, that's a minor... Like, he didn't change any of his actions to prevent him being thrown off the roof again.
Okay. But he did his best, and he then managed to go and save him, and it was sort of...
That was just luck. That wasn't like... he didn't learn anything from the first encounter.
No. I guess what I mean is he he concluded this whole thing where he was haunted by having lost his son, and somehow because he'd saved this other boy, that made it okay for him, and he seemed to be happier at the end, like it had concluded.
I think he just needed grief counselling. Like, I don't feel like...
That doesn't make for a very exciting film, though.
Chance leading to a different outcome next time. It's really the best therapy for him.
That's what I was looking for. Was when they cross over into the real world, for there to be a real change in tone and like stuff, where the real world rules apply now.
Yeah.
And the character's going to be very different, but it sort of seemed like we just had the same as what was happening in the other world.
Yeah.
Again.
It was sort of like we brought that madness into the real world rather than having the real world make it more real or something. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I'm sure that reminds me of a different film that did that well, but it'll come back to me.
Okay. Interesting. It was alright, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's not really the most analysable film. Well, it probably is, but I don't have much analysis.
I'm sure there's layers upon layers upon layers that we haven't begun to say.
There was a lot about... also, now I think about it, was he called Jack, the...
Arnold's character.
Jack Slater.
Jack Slater.
Arnold Braunschweiger.
That's great.
He's a real talent for comedy.
So he'd lost his son and the boy had lost his dad.
Oh, yeah.
And so that kind of made it work in a way. And the boy already had this sort of not quite father figure in the projectionist. There was a really weird moment where I thought it was going completely the wrong way.
Oh! I've written down in my notes, creepy old man. He might be cute. No, he's creepy.
And then after all, no, he is cute.
Yeah.
When did you get this when he brought out the ticket for the first time? He'd invited the boy to this lonely, just the two of them screening of a film. And then he closed the door and said, "But this won't just be a normal screening." And the music, which I now realise was meant to be like something mystical's happening music, sounded like this is a villain revealing himself. And I thought he was going to attack the boy, especially after the boy had just been attacked by this burglar and stuff. I thought, oh my god, this is horrible. I can see why this is a 15. But then no, he just brought out this magical golden ticket and it was all fine. Right, I'm glad you got that as well. Did you think that at all? Yeah.
Yeah, when he was dressed as the bellhop or the usher. Yeah. In this sort of ill-fitting uniform, it was all a bit.
And if they just I feel like a few things in post could have really changed the feel of that for the better. Just maybe some uplifting music rather than mysterious music. Cool. Finish there.
There's so much to say. I'm sure there's so much to say, but I just
you have any thoughts, Fernando?
I think that even though it was extremely long and maybe yes, it was silly, I get the feeling that I enjoyed it more than you.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it still.
Yes. I did not think that part with the usher was creepy at all.
Okay.
In fact, I did think that something magical was going to happen.
Oh, I see.
As I'm sure you meant it.
You're so much less cynical than we are.
And overall, I greatly enjoyed the film. As in, I did think that it was too long, and I was extremely bored on the first day I tried watching it. Yeah. But once I finished watching the movie, I was like, oh, I'm glad that I watched this film. In fact, I'm going to recommend it to my family.
No one under 15, though.
No.
Oh, yes, no.
Just being appropriate.
My sister's now 21 years old, I think.
Okay.
She used to be 8 years old.
Is she still 8 years old to you?
I think so, yeah.
Oh.
What else have you got written in blurry mascara on the back of it?
Charles Dance.
Oh yeah, Charles Dance.
My God.
Talking about Charles Dance. I was so excited when
who was Charles Dance?
The guy with the eye.
Yeah, okay.
Do you know? Do you recognise him?
Yeah, he was what's his name, Lannister in Game of Thrones, Tywin Lannister.
Yeah.
Did you watch Game of Thrones?
No, but I did see the Imitation Game where he is.
Okay.
The person puts Alan Turing in contact with the Prime Minister, who probably was Churchill.
Probably.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Cool. Okay.
Just a sublime villain.
Oh,
He was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was another reason that I was still interested and wasn't really getting bored all film. Yeah, I loved his weird eyes, and I loved his just disdain for everyone, and he was a true villain.
Yeah, he even bad-mouthed the bad guys. Yeah, like he was beyond bad.
And Ian McKellen at the end.
I know.
Yeah.
That's surprising. He's
That's the
Good
Grim
casting
Reaper.
as well.
very good casting.
Yeah.
What a talented man.
Do we know what film he was from? The Grim Reaper there. He'd come into the film.
I did say the type. It was on like a little sign outside, but I didn't recognise it.
Just thinking that would be one to look into. Probably my favourite part in the whole film was the boys' daydream about Arnold Schwarzenegger being in Hamlet.
Yeah, that was good.
That was just wonderful, because I've seen that version of Hamlet as well, and it's amazing, but it was so good.
Not to be.
Yeah, that was great.
And that was such a classic English teacher thing. Being like, oh, well, Shakespeare, he invented action movies and heroes. It's like, trying too desperately to be down with the kids. The real hip-hop was written by Shakespeare in his sonnets.
Sonnet 116. Set to dubstep.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Richard E. Grant's hip-hop version of Hamlet's soliloquy?
No.
Right. Worth looking into. You know who Richard E. Grant is?
No.
Very sort of traditional Shakespearean actor.
Oh, right.
Does a kind of rap of Hamlet.
Interesting.
Of like the whole of Hamlet, or a scene?
No,
from
no,
Hamlet?
just the to be or not to be.
Okay. Huh. Oh, that almost seems like the very wrong scene to pick, because it's so quiet and moody and introspective. I guess it's a new interpretation. What's it very?
It's very sort of either 80s or 90s, I couldn't place it, but with like, I don't know, he's in a room surrounded by candles, he's just doing that. There's occasionally like people coming on. Yeah. It's indescribable, I would say.
Is it like the video for Ice Baby?
I've never seen it.
Oh, treat yourself. Yeah, look up Ice Baby by Vanilla Ice.
He didn't even go to Miami University, even though he's wearing a jumper from there.
They'll just sell them to anyone these days.
Anyway,
interesting. Because Hamlet has the play within a play, doesn't it? So it's interesting that they used Hamlet.
They could have done a lot more with that. But they did nothing.
I respect it.
You are already better at writing this film than they were. No, it was a good film. Ish. I liked it a bit.
I'm glad we were watching it for this, because I do think it was worth pushing past the initial lull.
I will watch anything with Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I have never seen The Terminator 2.
Okay.
I should probably go on it at some point.
Yeah.
I'd probably enjoy it.
Oh, you really might. Have you seen any of the Terminator films? So I was treated recently, my friend Luke, who occasionally hosts elegant film soirees. We go around and watch a nice glass of wine, and we watch a film properly in the dark, and it was just, we really appreciate these films. And he said, oh, have you never watched Terminator? I was like, no. And so he said, well, we should watch the first one. It was something else. And Terminator 2 was so different, but also kind of even better in a totally different way. The first one is so low budget, but Arnie is fantastic in it, and it's this really like stripped down, like just one terrifying monster that's just done in such a brilliant way. And then the second one, it really builds on it and expands. There's so much more going on, and it's more of a like big blockbuster action film, a bit like Alien and Aliens. If you've seen those.
I do. Yeah. I like those a lot.
That same kind of one is really simple instruction. The second really opens it up. Yeah, Terminator, really good stuff. And then apparently all of the ones after the second one are just terrible.
Great.
Yeah, I definitely recommend
cool,
that. I think you'd like
I hope that's been noted for whoever's choosing.
Yeah. Why did you mention that? Oh, yeah, because that's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
He is just brilliant, isn't he?
He's good at doing what he... So the films I've seen him in...
Yeah.
The two Terminator films are the only ones I've seen him in that I could take him seriously in. And I think all the other ones have been playing on the fact that he's a famous action hero, and I think he's now done more where he's taking the piss out of himself than he has done where he's just him. Like, Kindergarten Cop. Have you seen that?
Love that film, yeah.
Fantastic. Oh, of course, we watched it together in Florida. It's on the TV.
Yes,
we watched it in chunks with adverts. But that was just great. And yeah, he's such a good comedy actor. The other one is
Jingle All the Way.
Fucking Jingle All the Way.
Love Jingle All the Way.
Which we watched every Christmas because Ryan made us. It's just dreadful.
Fantastic.
Absolutely awful. Because it tries to do what this film did, but it's just not good enough to pull it off. It's just really weak. But also, he's amazing in it. And he's the only thing that keeps it going. Just his... He seems to be cast in all these films like as an American, and he's just so obviously Austrian or German, and it's never even mentioned because it's just Arnold Schwarzenegger who doesn't really have a nationality.
You never buy him as just a suburban dad. He's always cast. This 6'10" Austrian bodybuilder. Just this run-in-the-mill average father trying to make it through Christmas.
And it works so perfectly.
Have you seen Twins? Or
No.
What's it called? The one with Danny DeVito.
Oh, yeah. I have seen it, but I don't remember it.
Oh, they're twins and they're completely different.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger's just this lovely guy, and Danny DeVito is a wheeler dealer who's trying to take advantage of everyone all the time.
Okay. You notice Danny DeVito's cameo in this film?
Yeah.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's a catio.
Catio, well done.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Cat.
It's no who's Matt. It was almost there. You forgot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was good.
Never mind. No, I'm just kidding.
That wasn't very efficient.
So, while we're here, you said something interesting at the start.
And then you didn't say anything interesting since then.
And you've said several other interesting things, but this is the particular one I want to come back to. Should films have intermissions?
Not in the cinema. Or should they?
Ice cream.
Definitely in the cinema. If I open a cinema, which I might.
Yeah.
I think it would be very difficult to pick, or I think that maybe films would have to be designed in a way that maybe there's a scene where you're expecting the intermission. Otherwise, what if you just cut it when someone really was interested in the film and then his interest is lost?
Most films have some kind of climax in the middle.
Yeah.
That's a bold statement. I don't think it'd be backed up by fact, but...
I think if nothing else, most films have a series of climaxes.
Yes.
And you could pick a lull between two climaxes for most films.
Mm-hmm. It wouldn't have to be right in the middle either. It could be... Well, there's a little wiggle room, I think.
I feel like most films that do have intervals and most shows in the theatre, it tends to be more like 2/3 of the way through, doesn't it? The second half tends to be a lot shorter.
I just feel like forcing an intermission would be like when we watched the I can't remember the name of that film, but when the film had to be like 90 minutes long and had to be neither more nor less.
Oh yeah.
And where either more or less, then they would not be accepted.
Yeah. So you mean it would tie the hands of the movie makers?
And then also, I don't feel for some reason, I'm not sure why, but I feel like forcing something into someone is not what you should do. You should give everyone the option to either do it or not do it.
Yeah, okay. At the moment, I feel like probably filmmakers have pressure on them to make it all one thing, right? Because that's what moviegoers expect, and that's what cinemas are set up for, is just going and watching one. I imagine you'd have to be quite a big deal in Hollywood to say, do you know what, I'm making this big film and it's going to have a 20-minute intermission whether you like it or not. I bet a lot of people would push back on that because it's so unusual now. But I bet some films at least it would work for. Yeah, some certainly not.
Did you ever go to the cinema with and then had intermission?
Yes. No, I'm not that old.
Just once, and it was...
Just once?
Yeah, I never expected it. I don't know why they did it in particular. It was the third Pirates of the Caribbean film.
Oh, I see.
That is unusual.
Yeah, which was quite a long film. Mm-hmm. It was like 2.5 hours maybe, or 2.25, something like that. And I found it in that film to be a really good experience, and in other films as well, because, yeah, old films, of course, they all had intermissions.
I see.
Old musicals and stuff. And I find it really good. Just to sit down and have a think about the first half and have a think about what I thought of it. And in the Pirates of the Caribbean film, it was actually a surprisingly cerebral film with quite a lot of different characters all over the place. And we spent a good 5 minutes anyway, going through it all with each other and working out exactly who was who and why he said that to him and all that. Same thing in Les Miserables. The first time I went to see that in London, being a stage show, there was an intermission, and I'd mostly managed to follow the story, but there's a lot of different characters, and I had no knowledge of what it was going to be about when I went in. So that was really good to be able to just process it and get comfortable, have a snack, and then go into the second half refreshed.
Snack break, yes.
Yeah.
Big time. Also, it just builds the anticipation for like the next half. Whereas if you're just sunk in it, you're just experiencing it all, which is fine, which is nice. But there's something nice about in the theatre, especially when you take a little break and you come back and you're just waiting for it to start again.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, anticipation.
See, well, I'm not sure if it is because the cinema that I went to and my childhood was very hipster, but I would just check a film that was premiered in 1999, and even then that cinema had like intermissions.
Right.
So I remember that all my childhood we went to the cinema and it would have an intermission.
Yeah.
Not in the climate, I suppose. I'm not sure if it was in a place where it was a falling action or anything. It would stop, and you would have. I'm not sure what the intermission would be. Isn't it the time of the intermission? But you would be allowed to go out and buy something. Or, more annoyingly, vendors were allowed into the hall and you could buy things from them, yes. And for some reason I'm grateful that that no longer is the case.
Okay.
I love that.
What if it was just a bit more tasteful? What if they just raised the lights slightly, stopped, and everyone just had a few minutes to think, maybe talk quietly,
someone's
and then go back into it?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose.
Would that be better?
I suppose that'd be better, yes.
Or would you resent the break anyway?
In 2 lots, and it'd still be warm.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
What about...
Good for a podcast, is it? Talk every time.
What about having intermissions in some films? As in, if they're too long, then maybe you would have an intermission. So just having entertainment in a plane, apparently if you are travelling very far, then they give you entertainment in your seat, and you're not travelling far, then you have no entertainment. Thank you. Have you've experienced this?
Sorry, if there's entertainment...
No, say, if you take a flight, as in you're flying somewhere, if you fly in London, your seat will probably not have like a TV in front of you.
Yeah.
But if you take a very long flight, say if you go to the United States, then you will most certainly have a TV. So someone has made the decision. You do not need to watch TV on your flight to London, but you have to watch TV on your flight to New York. So maybe someone making a similar decision is in this very long film, you'll have an intermission.
I see.
Yeah.
Or in this extremely long film, you'll have not only one intermission, you'll have 7 intermissions.
Oh, yeah.
Or 7 minutes.
Oh, why
for each
not?
one.
Yeah. I think that should be totally up to filmmakers. And I wish there was less of a fixed idea of what a film should be.
And I think that I'm going to propose to the person that filmed Song to Song to have like 27 intermissions, each of only 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you have to come back.
And play them all in a random order.
Yes.
And it might make more sense.
Yes.
I'm really torn on this. On the intermission or not intermission. Not in Song to Song, because you should not extend that experience.
Have an intermission that you just don't come back from.
Yeah. It's a polite way to leave halfway through, isn't it?
Leave the lights out. Sneak out. Yeah. And it's tough because sometimes you do just want to get on and find out what's happened, and you don't want to be teased and tantalised. But sometimes it is nice to have some processing time. But then the break Fernando had, he had like a 23-hour intermission. So maybe cinemas need to like say, oh, we're showing the first quarter of Song to Song on Monday.
Kind of like The Cursed Child that you can do. You watch one half one day and you have to pick another day for the next.
Is that what used to be? I think I've heard rumors from maybe my English teacher that is the thing that used to be that used to happen with the Shakespeare's plays, that you would go into the theatre one day and it would be so long that you would go back and you would go the next day.
Right.
I mean, that makes sense.
Well, like Henry the Sixth is in 3 parts. And Henry IV, I think, is in 2 parts. And yeah, I think the idea that, and each of those is the length of a play, but I think they all went up at the same time. So yeah, you would just have to make sure you saw them in the right order. I think The Cursed Child, they often do the first part as a matinee, right?
Yeah.
And then the second
you can
part
see it in one
evening,
day.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can just get a ticket for one or the other, which is seems odd, but when it's so long, it makes sense.
We are tending towards binge watching, aren't we, though, as a society, where you do, like, so they show all the Henry VI in one day, but with a break in between, and you go and see Cursed Child all on the same day.
I wonder if this also has to do with the fact that, say, some people live in cities and traffic is just extremely intense, and going to the cinemas and you have to devote certain time to go to the cinema. And having an intermission, having this intermission, or maybe having a day of intermission would force you to go back to the plays, and maybe you don't have the time, and that's why you don't have an intermission and you just go one day to the cinema.
Yeah, and that's sad in a way, isn't it? That we just have to desperately cram in the film or the play or whatever because we don't want to. Wouldn't it be more satisfying to go to the cinema half as often, but have it be like a big outing, and that's what you do for the whole evening?
I agree. There should be like a high tea in the intermission.
Yeah.
Cucumber sandwiches.
Yeah, why not?
Yes, please.
No? No. Curry buffet.
Oh, so you like the idea, it's just the choice of food. Yeah, I think something like that.
Everyone farting through the second half.
Should we continue discussing the
Oh,
film?
yes.
Oh, would we not finish?
That was the intermission. That was a good one.
Time for part 2.
So I've heard that for the German market, they dubbed like Terminator and stuff with a German speaker. but they didn't let Arnold Schwarzenegger do it, even though it's his first language, because he sounds too much like a yokel, because he's got like this farmer's accent.
Oh,
And it's just like, it'd be too funny, it would be unbelievable that the Terminator would sound like he was from the West Country. Well, you can't really say the West Country when you talk about Germany. That's like offensive, isn't it? Politically inflammatory. Good job I didn't say it.
Yeah, thank God.
Anyway, that's funny. So
I read that it totally bombed.
Really? In box offices?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Hugely. Well, it came out the week after Jurassic Park or something.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, and they'd spent so much money on advertising that they made a loss.
Oh!
It grossed like many, many millions. I can't remember the number, but they'd spent so much advertising it that they lost money.
Wow.
Jesus.
Yes.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it was a shame. It was a good film. I enjoyed it. So it had some problems, but
I feel like it could have been like a cult classic, like one of those films that, you know, people still watch.
Is it maybe a bit of a cult classic?
I'd never heard of it.
Right.
Like, I just...
I'd never heard of it either.
Yeah.
So my first time I'd heard of it was referenced in the Mitchell and Webb radio series. They have a sketch show, and it was a sketch about a man who's a bit fed up and he's up late one night because he can't sleep, and he goes to watch Last Action Hero, gets his video out that he's watched since he was a kid, and he watches it and he thinks, oh, this isn't that good, and he turns it off and he realises he's probably never going to watch it again, and he has a slight existential crisis about how he's getting older and he's going to die one day and he's never going to watch Last Action Hero again, and that what he needs is closure, and his girlfriend pulls out this ticket, or it's like a secret video recorder remote or something that lets him go into the film Last Action Hero and experience it one last time and meet Arnold Schwarzenegger and everything. And I had no idea what this sketch was about, and I looked it up. I was like, oh, Last Action Hero is a famous film about someone who goes into a film.
I did have trouble with the, like, fictional Arnold Schwarzenegger meeting real Arnold
That's
Schwarzenegger.
happened before.
I quite liked that, really.
Like, I feel like these fictional characters live in the fictional world and they're who we see on screen. So who's real Arnold Schwarzenegger? What's his role in all of this? Because he's not...
Actually, for a split second, where I'm the dumbest person alive, I was like, oh, we got Arnold Schwarzenegger for this cameo. You idiot.
Brilliant.
That's fantastic.
I like that they messed around with him as well. They had him be really vain and just think about his licensing deals. It's quite good.
What films would you go into?
Oh, what a question.
Song to song.
God.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I feel like all my favourite films are very perilous.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park.
Ooh.
Oh, can you imagine though?
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Lord of the Rings. It would be amazing, but also I'd die.
Yeah,
I'd die
okay.
immediately.
It's so good.
I think I would go into a documentary of sloths. That's quite very cool.
Nice.
You can do that though.
But it's true.
Yeah. That's a real one. You just need to go to Puerto Rico. Excellent. Oh. Imagine to have a dream so attainable. I was going to say, like, the Muppets Take Manhattan. Well, actually quite a lot of crime and peril
I'd
in
like
that
to go
one.
into one of those little segments on BBC News. Some stock footage from BBC News. That's fine.
Peter Pan springs to mind.
Oh, an animated one. That's a good idea.
My first thought was Aladdin,
Right.
Oh, that is
Interesting.
great.
just because it'd be warm and you'd have a magic carpet.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
It'd be pretty good.
And the monkey. Yes.
Yeah.
I do want to pick Lord of the Rings because of all the beautiful locations, but if I have to follow the film's narrative arc,
That would
I'll be terrified.
horrible.
It would be horrible.
So again, you could just go to New Zealand, right? Well, that's all real.
I suppose.
Maybe you don't have to go to Mordor though. Maybe you could just like hang out with
Maybe. I just
Molly
feel like
and Hobbiton.
the rules of this film where he had to kind of go along with all the... Didn't have a choice. Or maybe it's because he wanted to. Maybe he could have just wandered around in that world.
It was a bit creepy how it like just wasn't addressed at all. That suddenly Jack Slayer was like dragging this child around with him. Didn't say, "Oh, do you not got home to go to?"
Yeah.
It was just like, "No, come along, jump in the car."
That was to do with it being a film, right?
Yeah.
Where no one questions things. And they're an unlikely couple, so they...
Oh
They
no,
get
I'm
assigned
the
to the
comedy
same case.
sidekick.
Yeah.
That was a good touch.
That's fine.
I love the shouty police chief as well. Because to start with, I thought, this isn't very good. I can't even really make out what he's saying. And then I realised that was the whole point. It was quite good.
Is that a bit of a racist trope, though? The angry black man. That's in, like, every police
I wonder.
film. They've got an angry black captain who just shouts at them.
Angry black captain, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't think I've really come across it. Definitely an angry captain, but I've not quite noticed.
The one that springs to mind is 21 Jump Street, although that's again another comedy, so it's playing on that trope
Right.
of it being a
I see.
thing. Yeah.
Brooklyn
That's a
Nine-Nine.
bit negative. And he is specifically not angry and
Yeah.
shouting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if that's deliberate.
Mm.
Yeah. Could be something in that.
Yeah. To watch more police films.
I'm still thinking of films I'd like to go into.
Yeah. Mary Poppins could be a
Oh,
good
that'd
one.
be lovely.
Because there's something real about it as well as the silliness. So the Sound of Music, if it weren't for all the Nazis.
The Nazis written that one.
Yeah. As probably most films with Nazis in. I'd go to Bedknobs and Broomsticks. That'd be alright.
Oh, being in the cartoon under the sea.
Yeah. It's
That'd be great.
lovely. Bobbing along. Bobbing along.
Brian! Yeah. Maybe we should think about it.
Yeah.
Come back next week. Our definitive answers.
I think that could be a good one for our 50th episode when we do the awards.
Oh.
I think one of the categories could be film you most want to live in.
That's a
and we
good
could look
idea.
through the whole list of all the films we've seen and
Brilliant.
do that. Just
Yeah.
a thought.
It's good. I like it.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
How many films have you watched?
We've watched, this was our 29th.
That's a lot of films.
We've been doing this well over a year now.
What?
I know.
Yeah, that's surprising.
Yeah. We've been averaging about one every 2 weeks. I was looking at my calendar recently.
Wow.
Cool.
We've still pretty much kept it under wraps. I think we've done a good job.
Yeah, well, other people are rubbish, aren't they? So
Yeah, exactly.
except Wolf.
Oh, yeah, except you.
And
Hi,
then
Wolf.
one or two other people who maybe know about. Yeah, we kept
Can't believe it's been a year. That's weird.
long may it continue.
Don't believe it.
And still no one's listening to the podcast.
Well, so I did.
Fuck you, listeners! So you can't hear me?
Because you don't exist. I did have a little look at the.
Don't swing in your chair,
Sorry.
Michael.
Sorry.
It's not Fernando's chair.
Yeah, who cares? this chair's 600 years old. I had a look at the server statistics a couple of days ago, and I think the server has served 2,500 requests. So one request is just anybody even opening the website or clicking. Or was it 25,000?
It can't be 25. No.
Because automated tools will be doing this as well.
Oh, okay.
So like anytime anyone clicks on anything, that's another request. So it could certainly be more people that we're not aware of.
Interesting.
And they can, of course, leave a review on Apple Podcasts or anywhere
Follow
else.
us on Twitter.
Follow us on Twitter
At Secret Film Club Pod.
or something like that.
Secret Film Pod.
That'll do.
Yep.
Please distinguish yourself from all the random people that just follow back out of politeness.
Yep. 182 followers.
Really?
Not bad.
That's more than I've got.
See?
Never really tweet though, so
That'll do.
not a lot to follow.
Any other thoughts about the film?
Oh yeah, the film. It's content like this that people come back
Oh,
for.
yeah.
We haven't rung the bell.
No.
Where's the bell?
Does anyone...
Symbolism.
Fetch the bell!
I think we have to think of something first, right?
No, this is when we come up with best stuff.
Oh, right.
What do we ever pre-think our symbolism?
Symbolism, right.
Fernando, you please ring the bell. Oh, what a dainty one.
I feel like in this building
listen.
servants might arrive.
Yeah, it could happen. Symbolism.
Symbolism.
Do you know, actually, we got a couple of things already. Claire, you said about Hamlet being the play within a play.
Yes.
And this is
Yep,
the film within a film, which, again, I don't think they're really capitalised on. But
Fractal? Once
Oh my
again?
god, it is fractal.
oh, it's a
Oh my god.
What?
What, the fractal? I nearly had something. Vivaldi, composer, and then we had the guy who plays Salieri. They were chatting about how he killed Mozart. But, so in a different film, he kills a composer, and in this one, the enemies. Vivaldi, he kills Vivaldi.
Tony Vivaldi.
Oh, I
Tony
didn't
Vivaldi.
get that at all. Great.
Yeah, that's because it's nonsense.
No, right.
Seemed to make sense.
I didn't notice it was the same actor that played Salieri.
They alluded to it.
Right.
Says, don't trust him, he killed Mozart.
Oh, okay. I thought that was something I kind of got lost in.
Yeah, I didn't get that reference.
This film was too complicated.
Yeah, what was his name? He had a fun name. They kept making jokes about his name in the film.
Which one?
Salieri. The
Fart?
No, he was a cop.
Oh, right, okay.
The cop who
Can't be stopped.
they kept making puns about his name. I'd be like, oh,
I can't remember.
that's annoying. Anyway, he killed Mozart in that one, and then Vivaldi died in this one.
There's something in that.
Yeah, I like it. They
Yeah.
must have thought it through anyway. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just didn't really actually make it work, did they?
Nah. Shame.
And everyone who was supposed to be attractive in the fictional world was very thin.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck you.
Yep.
That's fat phobia. That's the patriarchy right there.
Were they kind of, maybe not specifically in terms of fat phobia, but they were playing on the whole point is these are stereotypically glamorous Hollywood people, right?
I guess so.
Even to the extent that they were all wearing ludicrously
Yeah.
figure-hugging clothes and stuff.
Maybe they were aware.
For the sake of a joke, but yeah, but
Yeah.
they probably, that they didn't exactly make a point of them being thin, they just were, yeah.
They didn't mention the thinness. The little boy is just like,
mention how
oh, everyone
beautiful
here
they
is
were."
so attractive.
Yeah.
Do you think made up LA is just really LA? Because it's where all the attractive wannabe actors go, isn't it? And it's all a bit
Oh, I see.
fake and not real life.
So the whole of Los Angeles is inside the movie,
Yeah.
as it were.
Yeah,
I like it.
The fake LA is actual LA. No. I'm
Still
trying.
worth a try.
So obviously he just wanted to escape his terrible life with his lack of father, hatred for school.
Yeah.
And then he did. And in the end, again, as I've said, no lessons were learned.
Yeah.
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 Just got to keep the
sort
cinema
of
ticket.
Ended, didn't it? Were they planning a sequel?
I wonder.
Sorry.
Yeah, I wonder.
Because they
Seems
obviously
to leave a couple of loose ends.
Yeah. Like him keeping the ticket. and
Like him
stuff.
keeping the ticket, yeah, he didn't. No real character development. He made a thing about, like, when he thought he was dying, he was like, you look after your mum or something, I would love to, something, you know, like there was some sexual chemistry between them that we never just never mind. Don't think about it.
Yeah. But then it bombed in the cinema and we never had a sequel.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll do one.
It'd be really shit to have Last Action Hero Part 2, like the second Last Action Hero.
Well, they did recently release Final Fantasy 15, so maybe it can happen.
Yeah. It's never occurred to me that that's a ridiculous name for a series.
It's really bad.
Well, I think we've dragged this out sufficiently.
Think so?
I just like to
think
point
we
out
hit a
that
few good points.
when he was having his breakfast in the real world after arriving back, he said he didn't want toast, and then Arnold Schwarzenegger gave him a slice of toast.
Oh.
Just not okay. Like, just not okay. Kid doesn't want some toast. Don't get him toast.
We have to eat your breakfast. Finish that, shall I?
Oh, I have such a long list.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, so long. How am I going to pick?
So it's the three of us. It's exciting.
Very exciting.
Yeah, who's going to pick Terminator?
I'd so watch Terminator. Here we go.
At what point does this become a bit racist?
I think it was a long time ago.
No, Claire must pick.
Oh,
Oh, sorry, yes.
Yes.
What am I doing?
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh my god! I wasn't ready.
Oh
I just
no!
wasn't ready. Just wasn't expecting it. What can I say? I just wasn't.
It just seems so unlikely.
It did just seem so unlikely.
What were the chances?
Oh, what to pick? What to pick? I can't pick right now. I'm going to do another Twitter poll
Aha!
because I find that quite exciting.
Oh, so you're going to do it?
Yes, I haven't done it yet.
Okay.
What have you been doing for the past minute?